5 killers who showed no mercy in court.
William MacDonald. The first of his kind from Australia, William was the original serial killer to Aussies with nicknames like Jack the Ripper of Australia, but mostly just the Mutilator for obvious reasons. Terrorizing the city of Sydney between 1961 to 62, Mr. MacDonald took the lives and genitals of 5 victims which he tossed away after keeping for a few days.
Well, the man was a professional baller. I guess his dream is to be a professional NBA player. I mean, killing people is not new. There are so many criminals who are killers. But this guy is something else. He is not just killing people, but cutting their balls like it's gold. Anyway, let's jump on to the next killer.
O'Neill was 29 when he fatally shot his then-girlfriend Kenyatta Barron. Following this, he murdered their own daughter by striking her multiple times with a hatchet. She was only 9 years old. O'Neill also stabbed their 8-year-old son before pouring gasoline all over the house and setting it on fire. O'Neill was arrested upon fleeing the burning house. The son was able to escape but was critically wounded and suffered from burns. The first 911 call on the incident was from the girlfriend who was heard screaming before suddenly hanging up. 8 minutes later, another call came in from O'Neill.
911, what is your emergency?
Hey, I just been attacked by some white demons inside Kiki. Kiki, her name is Kiki, and she tried to kill me.
What's she at?
Huh?
Man, that's brutal. I thought when Eminem said, if she ever tries to fucking leave again, I'ma tie her to the bed and set this house on fire. He was kidding, but this man actually did it. And I don't know about Thanos, but this guy is actually a madman. I mean, who does that? Next is...
Ian was the murderer of 5 innocent children. Explaining how he and his accomplice would kidnap, molest, torture, and then murder his victims during his confession and trial, Ian seemed to have shown no emotion towards any of the victims or the immense amount of hatred from the entire community. And although he was diagnosed as psychotic, he would confidently say otherwise on a very constant basis.
Well, Grandpa was literally getting psycho. It is truly mind-boggling to think that in the age of offering chocolate to children, he was offering wounds and death to them. Now I understand why people say that the only place where people should spend their time after turning 60 is in coffins. Anyway, next up is...
A drifter himself, 48-year-old Michael, was someone who'd proudly take the lives of 16 other train drifters since he was 14. According to Michael himself, he even admits to providing a public service to the US by being a cold-blooded enforcer and blocking the way of drug transportations to other states, as apparently it's a popular way to transport product.
No jokes here, but I believe that this man deserves a ticket to jail or even a death sentence for the crimes he has committed. In fact, according to reports, he was sentenced to an infinite life term, which means that he will forever live in prison. Next up is...
His mugshot, Gerard John Schaefer looks like an everyday man. His hair combed to the right and a friendly smile plastered on his face. However, a second glance may be warranted after learning that he potentially killed 30 people throughout the 60s and 70s. Schaefer was a Florida sheriff's deputy when he kidnapped 2 teenage women and tied them to a tree in the forest. The women escaped after Schaefer received a call on his radio.
Had these 2 girls not been made of strong stuff, they would not have lived to tell the story, and Schaefer would have never been caught.
Sadly, Susan Place and Georgia Jessup, whom he kidnapped 2 months later, were not so lucky.
He takes the 2 young girls by force to the woods near some swamps that border the ocean.
In 1973, Schaefer was convicted of their murders and given 2 life sentences, but he's suspected of having over 30 victims.
I've seen fictional movies in which there is a psychopath killer who kills people like chickens, but after looking at people like this, I'm amazed that those movies are not just fictional movies. These killers still exist in real life. But what do people get after killing others? Well, that itself is a dark question, which has a horrifying answer. However, our final killer was himself a cop, whose name is... So yeah, even the savior can also be the enemy who is hidden in the dress of a policeman. And that's it for today's video. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more such videos.